guys, welcome to Beard's Eye Review, and this is going to be my spoiler review for Zack Snyder's Justice League. Before we begin, don't forget to like and comment down below, subscribe and ring the bell to be notified whenever I do videos. I do them every single week, so make sure you keep a lookout for those. Spoilers all the way through, of course it's going to be spoilers. It's a movie that's been redone, so we're going to go deep into spoilers here. I can't do like one or the other, so spoilers all the way through. Make sure you checked it out first. We're here! We did it! It's Snyder Cut has happened, and for a long time I didn't think it ever would, and then when it started getting traction with all the actors saying release the Snyder Cut, and then they announced it's going to happen, I was like, wow, I'm so surprised we're actually getting this, because I'm always the kind of person that, look, the films that go out, if you like them, great, if you don't, then it is what it is, let's debate them, let's talk about them, but they are what they are. The Star Wars fans with the sequel trilogy are really bad at this. The Star Wars fans, we all know, are just terrible with like arguing constantly about what's right and what's wrong in that universe. And the sequels, so many people wanted them to redo the sequels, and I'm the kind of guy that, no, those are the sequels, whether you like them or you don't, that's part of the canon now, that is what it is. And that's what it was with the Justice League. I enjoyed the first Justice League, I didn't mind it at all, it definitely was more Avenger-like, you can tell Joss Whedon's stamp was on it. And I did enjoy it. I enjoyed the extra comedy in there. I enjoyed the action and the kind of superhero-ness of it. But you can tell that there were certain things missing. There was something that wasn't right. You could tell halfway through that Snyder obviously had to bail for obvious reasons for what happened to his daughter, which was terrible. So I understand that, you know, the Joss Whedon to come in and tie off the laces, but you could tell there was a lot of things that he changed from what Zack Snyder originally wanted. So with that, it's kind of like I don't mind them giving us this version of it, of the version that the original director was going to give us, because it's not necessarily rehashing something or completely redoing something like other people wanted for other films. This is what the original vision was meant to be, and then obviously him able to, you know, once he was given the go-ahead, to add some extra pieces onto it, which there are a couple of extra pieces that, you know, were kind of maybe tacked on and that, or used the second that he was given the budget to, like, let's get this done. But I'll be honest, I think this was probably to do with the fact, like, right, I want to get this done, I want to do it my way, I want to do it the way that I envisioned it to be, and this might be my only chance to do it, so I'm just going to go hell for leather and get it done the way I want it. And for the most part, this is a vastly superior movie to the first Justice League film. It just walks all over it. It seriously does. The original Justice League's a fun kind of superhero action romp, but that's pretty much it. This, it is deep, it is dark, it is gritty, it is action-packed, it is emotional as hell, it brings the characters out in such amazing ways, so much better than the original. It just does everything that it needed to do, and then some. The characters that actually benefit the most from this Snyder Cut is Flash. Flash has an amazing story arc in this. He's still the comedy kind of aspect of it, and it does work really well, and they still have some comedy in there, but it's not too much. So I'm glad that they kept certain parts in, because he is the comedy relief, and I think that works really well for the character. But his arc in the first one was good, like pretty much the same here, but it's just embellished and thought about more and just given a little bit more time, as they do the same with Cyborg. I think he is the heart of this entire film. Like, the backstory is just completely washed over in the first one, but this one was given time and effort. Everything that goes on with the car crash with his mum, how he becomes Cyborg, the disdain he has for his dad, trying to build that relationship back up, him figuring out his powers and what he can do, and like he's essentially like Ultron. Like, he's solidly through the internet and technology, and we don't really get that in the other one. But this, we get so much more detail, and then just to have the big hero moments at the end of the film with these two, kind of the two main reasons that the world was saved. It's just incredible, and it has a so much better layer onto the film. And the other person that benefits the most is Steppenwolf. In the last film, I'll be honest, I didn't really like the look of Steppenwolf in the other one. It was fine, it was alright, but it was fine. And he ended up just being this kind of generic bad guy. You know what, it was kind of like the beginning of Phase 2 Marvel kind of bad guys, like Malekith kind of bad guys. It was those kinds of characters. But with this redo, it just looks completely different. He looks so much more badass, he is so much more badass, and he has a better storyline. The fact that he betrayed Darkseid at some point, and he's trying to get back in his good books and be redeemed, so that whole thing is an emotional weight to the reason he's forming these mother boxes, to have everything happen, to get back in Darkseid's good books, so that he'll be a credible threat again. And I love how that arc happened so well for him, even down to the ending. Because he dies at the end of this one. The last one he doesn't. He gets injured and taken away, but he doesn't die. In this one, he gets full-on slaughtered. Like with Aquaman stabbing him in the chest and him being thrown over, and then Wonder Woman just slices his head up. He goes through the tunnel to Darkseid, and Darkseid just grabs his head and crushes it with his foot. I was just like, that was bad ass. The other characters are Aquaman, Batman, Wonder Woman. They all do absolutely fine in this, just as they did in the other one, really. We do get a little bit more characterization with them, and they're all great. I'd say that Aquaman's a little bit more kind of brooding in this, and less. There's a little bit more comedy effect in him in the last one. With this one, he's a little bit more brooding, a little bit more intense. But we do get more of a backstory with him. We get backstories more with all of them, really. It's just that the other characters benefited more. Superman kind of, he's not an afterthought necessarily, but he's not in the film as much. He really isn't. But everything that he is in, part of it, he's more badass in this. I love when he appears in the black suit and the axe hits him. He's like, not impressed. With the cold breath, bang, that's gone. And he's just kicking ass the whole time, and it's awesome. And the best thing they did with Superman in this is that bringing him back with the mother box and the plan that they've got to bring him back, they gave it so much more time and respect that it absolutely deserved, because you're bringing him back from the dead. You're bringing back the most powerful being ever back from the dead, and it deserved more respect than what it got in the other one. This one, it was kind of done quite quickly and and sporadically, but with this there was so much more time dedicated to it. There was so much more moments that kind of built up towards it to make it feel so epic, of like, we're bringing back Superman, and it's perfect. Now I will say, as everybody else has been saying with the reviews, it is a hell of a slog. It really is a slog. It's 4 hours long. And I do apologise for this video being as late as it is. It is down to the fact that I had to kind of sit there and mull it over and think about it, because it's 4 hours. It's a lot to think about and to kind of digest, and it's not necessarily just reviewing a movie like I always do and like we always do. This is reviewing a movie that's a better version of a previous movie we've seen, and it's added loads of stuff and it's changed loads of things and adds so much more layers and stuff like this. So you have to think about it a little bit more. So I do apologise for this video being so late, but there's a lot to think about. I will say one thing though, it is 4 hours long. I reckon they probably could have got it down to 3.5, but that's me nitpicking really. There's just a couple of scenes here and there where I think to myself, you probably could have trimmed those back a little bit, but let's be honest, 4 hours, 3.5, what's the difference really? When you're kind of going in for that slog, that's just, again, nitpicking. I do love that also that we get so much more Darkseid in this. We get a mention in the last one, that's it. In this, he is full on in this film. Yes, not loads, but he's a big, overarching, looming focus in this film. And I loved it. And the scenes we got with him were brilliant. We got a massive flashback to all the old people, the gods, the Atlanteans, and the Amazonians, the humans, all kind of clanning together, which we did see in the last one, but with this it's so much more elaborate and it's so much more awesome. You see Ares in there, you see lanterns and whatnot, and it's just so much fun to see all these guys kicking ass and like destroying Darkseid, taking him out. That was a lot of fun. It is R-rated, this as well, and I really like that. Loads more blood and swearing and stuff, and let's be honest, it's always more awesome when they do that. That's why Deadpool's so successful. And the rest of the stuff we get with Darkseid, it's kind of like this kind of phone call thing in that plinth. I don't really get how that works, to be perfectly honest. That kind of blew my mind as how that's working. But, they're aliens, it's technology that we don't understand. So you see him a little bit there, as well as his little henchman. But then at one point the portal opens and you do see him properly and everything. This is the point I was talking about when, when Steppenwolf dies at the end. Seeing him properly and then essentially just saying, we're going to go back to Earth because there's some kind of thing there that he wants to get hold of. I can't remember what it's called, but it's something important. It's basically to control the entire multiverse. And he's going to go do the old ways and go back and just attack them and go for a massive war. And it was all awesome. It really was. He generally felt like a threat, and we don't have too many layers on him yet, like Thanos, but building towards it, he could be that, and that's what he's essentially meant to be. So if they did decide to carry on with this, I could see him being that kind of Thanos kind of level threat. Cyborg's dad's sacrifice as well, that I didn't expect to happen. I really didn't, because he didn't die in the last one, but in this one he does. It's so he can heat up the mother box to a certain temperature so they can track it and get there, so it wasn't in vain. But again, another emotional stamp on the Cyborg character to just feel more for him and give him a valid reason of why he'd be part of the team. He has nothing left now, and he's built up to this superhero moment where his dad sacrificed himself for these kind of moments. So because of that, there's a valid reason for him to stay there. Let's talk about the final battle, because it's so much different. It really is. Even like other battles that are so much different. It's so much longer with the Amazonian battles at the start when Steppenwolf first arrives, and they're so much more badass where they have no fear. That whole thing was awesome. Then later on when they take on Steppenwolf for the first time, when he's got hostages. That's more elaborate and again more awesome, and I just enjoyed everything about that. It was really cool. But the final battle, like, Superman's there the whole time. Him and Flash don't bugger off to save a family and a load of like civilians because there are none around there because it's like a nuclear area. So then there's none there, and that's good because I didn't really enjoy that kind of bit. That just seemed a little bit pointless and comical. So he's there, focused the whole time. Everybody kicking ass, everybody being awesome. Even Batman down to, because last time he was kind of like, you could tell he was the weak link as far as like superheroes can go, because he just couldn't do as much because he's just a man compared to the rest. But with this, he was able to be Batman, like be this like badass. No, he's a human, he's just a regular dude, but fuck me, does he know what he's doing? And I loved it with the absorption braces and everything, all the stuff he did with the bat tank and everything. Just everything was awesome that they did with Batman in this, and made him so much more of a badass and a valid member of the team and a valid leader of the team, because he gets them all together, and it makes more kind of credibility to why he would be in charge. As I said, the two big superhero kind of saving moments are one that Cyborg's able to kind of merge with the mother boxes and whatnot. Then you think it's too late and it just everything explodes and you're like, oh my god, it's Darkseid won. And then you get this amazing superhero moment with Flash where he goes all serious and he does this thing with his dad, to kind of monologue in his head and talking to himself, where he's going so fast over the speed of light that he's reversing time to get over to Cyborg, to hit them, to separate them, and that, which is exactly what happens, and that leads into Steppenwolf's death and Darkseid. But just that huge superhero moment where essentially Flash saves everyone, because you can see everybody kind of forming back together, including Superman. Everyone's dead, and he brings them back with his speed. Absolutely incredible moment. Really love that, and it gave it so much more heart to the character, and it makes me interested in the Flashpoint film that, you know, fingers crossed, is still happening. We do get a kind of Avengers superhero moment. That quick shot of them all together, the Bat-Tank all just leaping in slow-mo. Speaking of slow-mo, Snyder loves some slow-mo. I mean, tell you what, that's what extended a lot of this film, is so much slow-mo. A lot of it was awesome, but there was a couple of them I was just like, there was even one point where Lois just walking out of a coffee shop and it's like, does that need to be slow-mo? Really? Martian Manhunter as well, again, out of nowhere. I didn't expect Martian Manhunter to be in this at all. There was rumours going around for ages, but nothing concrete. And then for him just to pretend to be Martha, and then you see him again at the end of the film talking to Bruce Wayne. Everything was amazing. Nice little tidbit there to kind of lead into the next Justice League, again, if they decide to do it. It was awesome. Let's talk about that kind of last bit, which I think it was kind of tacked on, but I'm fine with it because of how great it was. And I found out that it was actually filmed in Snyder's back garden. Just, I don't know why, I don't know what the reason behind that is. Maybe because, like I say, it may have been a last minute kind of thing that he decided to do. But the elaboration on the nightmare scene that we get in BVS, again, Bruce is kind of asleep on the job kind of thing and having this kind of nightmare, this vision as he's seeing, and we get a little bit more elaboration from the last time we see it. And to see that Aquaman has died, Wonder Woman has died, you see her being burnt, Superman has just turned evil and he's on Darkseid, he's Darkseid's henchman, Lois has died because of it, and then it's just this ragtag team of Batman, Mira, Flash, Cyborg, Deathstroke as well. I like that they kind of added that in an end credit scene. That's now kind of part of it. And then Joker, of course, we see him in the trailers. We get that full scene of finally Ben Affleck's Batman and Jared Leto's Joker together, having this little kind of intimate scene of, you can just feel the history there of that he doesn't really want him part of the team, but it's a case of we just need to kind of stick together, otherwise Superman's going to kill us all. And just amazing, just this amazing kind of back and forth between them, just talking about Robins and everything, Harley Quinn's, and he's like, you know, be careful with your next words. He goes, that's not very careful, when he talks about Robin, and he goes, no mistake, I will fucking kill you. And just everything about it. Now, I don't know whether this is going anywhere further forward, and Snyder has said he has no plans to go forward, so like I said, this could be his kind of last kind of thing just to get this out there. This is kind of his vision that he wanted, but if they decide to go for it, why would you not go for that kind of nightmare thing, this vision that Batman's having, this whole ragtag group of people, his worst enemy Joker in the group with him, taking on Superman that's gone dark, and then you've got Darkseid looming over the top, this whole kind of apocalyptic kind of war. Why would you not go for that? That's awesome. Like, because like the Avengers haven't done that. We've done the snap, but then we've got 5 years later and they've been living in the universe. We haven't dealt with an apocalyptic moment. We've gone up to it, but then they've saved the day. With this, it's like we lost. We completely lost. This is the world we're living in now, and that is very interesting. That is, I cannot wait to see that. I pray that we get that. I don't know whether we will, but if we did, that would be some of the, they would make big numbers with that, because I think this film has revitalised people's trust in the kind of DC extended universe, the cinematic universe, and just this gives us hope to think that we could have something so awesome, gritty, dark, and unique as well. It doesn't have to follow Avengers in the kind of MCU timeline. And I think that's one of the problems we had with the last load of films, is that they're desperately trying to catch up, and it just, no, take your time and you will make the big bucks, and they unfortunately rushed it. But with this, it gives us hope. Overall, guys, this film was just exactly what we needed out of the DC universe. There's so much more for the characters within the Justice League. Every single one of them benefited from this. Yes, it was a slog. Yes, it was long. But it was so much more entertaining. It was so deeper. It was darker. It was gritty. It was just absolutely incredible the way they did this. Yes, there is some downsides to it because it being so long, certain things can be cut, and there is a couple of little tidbits here and there that you think, probably could have got rid of that. But for the most part, this is vastly superior to the first one. It's so much more awesome, and I just, as I said throughout this entire video, I'm crossing my fingers that we get more. I know Snyder's not interested, but hopefully they'll just look at it and think, right, well, let's just go with that as a template and go forward with that. It will suck not having Snyder on board, but hopefully we could get something like that we can really kind of get our teeth into, and have something that we really haven't had before in a superhero film, where the superheroes full on lose. And I don't mean lose temporarily like the Infinity War saga and everything, where they win in the end. But with this, it's lost. Like, they've all lost, and their main kind of sigil of hope, Superman, has turned bad. That's a salivating kind of prospect that we could get behind. And this film has given us exactly what we wanted. Hope for the DC universe. It was awesome. Everything about it rocked. Every character's benefited from this, including the bad guys. And I praise Snyder for doing this. And I know he did it for his daughter as well. I loved when he said put autumn at the end. That was incredible stuff. And yeah, it was an absolute labour of love. And it was for the fans. It was for his daughter. It was for himself. And I can't really, for the most part, I cannot fault it. And I'm not going to give it my highest rating, but I am going to give it a low 5 stars. Before we go, obviously he did this for Autumn. We know what happened with her. She obviously committed suicide, and that's terrible. So if there's anybody out there that really is struggling, especially during this time, during lockdowns and pandemic and everything, you could really be struggling. And if you are, there's links in the description for suicide prevention. Just please don't leave it to yourself. Don't not talk to people. Ring people, talk to your friends, talk to your family. We're all going to get through this together. Don't ever get to that point where you feel like you can't go on like Autumn did. So links below. So that's what I thought of Zack Snyder's Justice League. What did you think about it? Let me know down in the comments. Make sure you subscribe and ring the bell. If you want to find me on social media, any of these, all links in the description, and I'll see you soon.